Bring back the ranking member of the House Intelligence Committee, Congressman Adam Schiff of California. It's been more than a week now since these pictures were widely distributed, not only here but around the world. What can you tell us? Why is it so difficult locating these two individuals?
Wolf, I'm surprised, frankly, that we haven't identified them yet. The quality of the images that were released last week is very high, and from my vantage point, I'm not able to see the image you just showed. But just from those prior images, there are people out there who know who these two are. We need them to come forward. It may be a fear that it would get these two individuals in trouble. I think law enforcement has made clear they're not suspects, and they may nonetheless have inadvertently stumbled on some clues that could be very important to determining whether anyone else was involved in these bombings. So very important. There are folks that may be watching your program who recognize these people, and they need to come forward.
Because there presumably could be fingerprints, other evidence on that suitcase that the FBI would like to go through. So do you have any idea where these men are from, for example? Because I noticed in this FBI bulletin it says call the local FBI office or call the 800 number, but it also says contact the nearest American embassy or consulate. Is there any suspicion out there that these two individuals may be outside the United States or maybe from outside the United States?
I think at this point we simply don't know. But one of the reasons why that evidence may be so significant is if it has fingerprints or it has DNA on it, and those fingerprints or DNA match one of the other devices, that would be cause for great concern that there may be other individuals involved. When you have forensic evidence that may be only on one device or on a cell phone, it's much less conclusive about whether someone was involved. So it could be very important. We need the public's help here, and someone is going to recognize those people. Someone may have already recognized those people, and they need to speak up.
Because that bag, look at that bag, that suitcase, it looks very unique. It presumably could have potential clues where it was purchased, all that kind of information. I know they're looking anxiously to find these two individuals. Once again, they are unknown individuals, according to the FBI, seeking information. They are seen as potential witnesses to that terror attack in New York City. The breaking news we're following. There's other breaking news we're following as well. Congressman CNN's Jim Sciutto also reporting the FBI has asked to image, as they say, image the cell phones of some key Democratic Party staffers as it investigates a possible hack of cell phones. What does that tell you about this latest suspicion of a cyber attack? It looks to be much broader in scope.
Well, I can't comment on the specifics of that report, but I can say that, I am certain that if there isn't some pushback here, that we can expect to see a lot more of these kind of hacks. We're going to see a lot more dumping of information, and the worst fear, frankly, for me, is that they start dumping information that's been doctored that could really wreak havoc in our system. I'm very pleased that we're seeing states step forward now to work hand in hand with the Department of Homeland Security to make sure they're taking advantage of whatever the department can offer to help them secure their systems, because obviously there's concern when you see potentially foreign actors hacking into voter databases. There isn't much foreign intelligence to be gathered there, but there is useful information if your intent is to somehow disrupt or sow discord in the conduct of an American election. So very serious business. Unfortunately, I think we're going to see more of it, and I think it's very important that we call out the responsible parties. It's why Senator Feinstein and I released the statement we did last week that was, I think, such a grave indictment of what Russia is up to.
Because, as you know, last night, Donald Trump, in the debate, he suggested Russia may not necessarily be involved in this cyber attack on the DNC. Listen to what he said.
I don't think anybody knows it was Russia that broke into the DNC. She's saying Russia, 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 but maybe it was. I mean, it could be Russia, but it could also be China. It could also be lots of other people. It also could be somebody sitting on their bed that weighs 400 pounds, okay?
All right, so you're the ranking member of the Intelligence Committee, Dianne Feinstein, the ranking Democrat on the Senate Intelligence Committee. Both of you have concluded it was, in fact, Russia. So what's your message to Donald Trump?
Well, what I found so disturbing about this is it's either just willful ignorance on Mr. Trump's part, or he's demonstrated that he's willing to dissemble and lie about this. And what's so troubling beyond that simple fact is that he has essentially become an apologist for the Kremlin. This is perfect Russian propaganda. The Russians don't want to be called out on this, and if they can point to the Republican candidate for President of the United States saying, we have no idea who this is, could be the Russians, could be the Chinese, could be some 400-pound person, well, my guess, Wolf, is if this guy weighs 400 pounds, he's sitting somewhere in Russia right now. So I just find this, like his statements about ISIS that played into Russian propaganda, really deplorable. But it's not just him. Wolf, I remember when you had Mike Flynn on your program, you asked Mike Flynn about Russia's connection to these hacks, and similarly, he was unwilling to commit, unwilling to speak what I think he has to know better, and that he would surround himself, that Donald Trump would surround himself with other people that are willing to speak the line is deeply disturbing.
Mike Flynn, the former director of the Defense Intelligence Agency, now a top advisor to Donald Trump. Congressman, thanks very much.